Hello crafters, welcome to another video with Trebusheayt. I filmed a little tutorial on some birthday decor that I was making for my daughter's first B-day. It turned out so well, and it's going to be a two-parter. So this first video I'm getting into some of the decor, and in the second one I'm incorporating more of the tiered tray ideas for it. So kind of the smaller decor that I made with my Cricut. I had so much fun with this theme, and a lot of the things that aren't included in these two videos were included in any of the live videos that I filmed. Mostly my lives are on Friday nights, otherwise I sprinkle them throughout the week as well. So if you wanted to join any of that, we normally go live around 7:30 PST. Kind of depends when the kids get to bed, but that's why I say around. But if you wanted to join us, feel free to jump on next live, hopefully on Friday. I'll see you there. Otherwise, let's get right into these ideas. Please comment down below any tips and tricks you would have for Cricut, because us crafters always appreciate a good Cricut hack. Onto the video. We are starting off with making a personalized little letter for decoration. So I went ahead and cut out that kind of honeycomb beehive looking shape, and I thought I would do kind of a cool project with it. Honestly, it did not turn out the way I wanted. I thought I would stick it down on the letter and that it would work really well and look super cute, but then I actually ended up just using it as a stencil and painted over it, which you'll see in a little bit here. But I'm going to go ahead and place those on, and the great thing is the plan was to reuse the middle part, so that outline of it, so I could use the middle of the shapes on my letter here and then use the background there that you still see on my transfer sheet. I was just going to put that on a candle or something like that, which you will find out that did not eventually work. The candle was just all waxy and it just didn't happen, so we'll get into that in a little bit. But I went ahead and added that, and then decided I did not like how it looked, so a stencil it is. I mixed some brown and yellow with some white paint, and then made kind of like a gold yellow, if that makes sense. I just wanted to look more bee-like, and I went ahead and used my sponge brush and just painted that on there. Once it dried, I did go ahead and just take off those little pieces of vinyl. I used my weeding tool and my nails to pull it off. Sometimes it was a little trickier because I was using permanent vinyl, so definitely try to do maybe stencil vinyl or removable vinyl, but to be honest, I've used permanent vinyl many times as stencils and I haven't really had much of an issue. Just be really careful when you're pulling it up that you don't pull up the actual material of whatever you're working with. So now that that's dry, I am just pulling it all up. It did come up pretty easy, and then I just ended up throwing those little bits out because I couldn't really reuse them as much as I like to reuse my crafts as much as possible. I really like how this one turned out, but I did want to add something else, so I decided to go into Cricut Design Space and just make some little Bumble Bees. I'm just measuring it out to see where I'm going to put them, and then I'm just using some scrap matte vinyl to cut out a really cute little bumblebee. Now, my blade was really messed up at the time of filming this video, so that's why it die cut all the way through. It was a mess. I have thankfully fixed the issue since then, and if you haven't seen that video yet, I'll link it right here. It was crazy, but I found a way to fix my blade and the whole issue. Anyways, I was working with what I had because on a budget, and I went ahead and just weeded that, which is a lot harder to do when your Cricut decides to cut out the entire backing along with your decal. But hey, I'm working with it. It just takes a little more patience. I don't always have that. Okay, anyways, moving on. So I went ahead and did that, and it kind of worked out. So the reason I left a middle little shape here was actually just because I ran out of them, but it worked out because it actually fit perfectly for the bee, and I did not do that on purpose. But now it looks like the bee is layered with the colors, and it fit perfectly. I don't know how that happened, but I still felt like it was missing something. I wanted to go ahead and add her name in a pretty and cursive font. So I'm going to do that, make sure to weld it together, and then go ahead and cut that out. And then I'm going to just do the same thing, transfer it onto my little letter that I have going on here. I also thought that I needed another little tiny bee to kind of offset and balance everything out. So I went ahead and cut that out as well. My original plan was to use these little tiny bee button kind of bead things that I bought at Michael's, but it honestly just was not the vibe I was going for. It just looked really cheaply made, if that makes sense, and I thought with this matte vinyl it really gave it a nice finishing touch. So now I'm just playing around with the placement of the name, and I decided to put it here, so I'm going to ahead and add that. And then I added the next Bumblebee, which again, it just worked out perfectly to not have to layer the vinyl, and I think this looks super cute. I love that I can really personalize this for the birthday theme, and I cannot wait to do this for our Frozen themed party. I know, Elsa again for a 3rd year in a row, but I'm doing it again next month, so we're on it. This one was inspired by a frame or a sign that I saw at Michael's that I was going to purchase until I saw the price, and I thought, hey, I can kind of make this at home and tweak it a bit. So I found these little, I don't even know what to call them, wood sign templates, blanks at Michael's. They were a 2-pack for $11, which is a pretty good deal, and I went ahead and just made this little shape, kind of like the honeycomb that was on that sign that we had. And my original plan was to kind of mimic the sign and do the letter N in there, which you'll see I did cut it out and do all of that. And then I kind of changed my mind because I didn't really like how it looked, but we'll get into that in a bit. I made sure to align all of the shapes here to make sure that they had the proper distance apart. And then I'm going to make an offset for it to create that kind of white background because it is going on a wood frame, and it's kind of similar to the little sign that I was originally going to purchase. I was actually super impressed by how well this project came out, and I'm really glad I made it myself instead of paying all of that money for the little cute sign that I saw. Okay, so I'm just using my favorite feature called Offset. If you have not tried this, I urge you to play around with it because it really makes your decals and your crafts just look so much more professional, in my opinion. It gives it that nice crisp background and just makes your whole decal stand out. So play around with that offset feature if you haven't. It's pretty simple to learn, and I show it in a lot of tutorials for the step-by-step part of it, but if you need more clarification or anything, please let me know in the comments and I would be happy to do that for you. My favorite font to use is Times New Roman. I know it sounds really lame, but I just feel like it looks so crisp and professional. I love it. Now I'm going in with all of my colors that I've set and cutting out my permanent adhesive vinyl. You can use any brand. I'm just using a random brand from Amazon that I'm using today and trying to use it up because I'm honestly not too impressed with this brand, but I paid for it, so hey, we're going with it. I always cut around my vinyl decal because I like to save as many vinyl scraps as possible. I reuse them for a number of projects and just save so much money that way. So if you are not saving your vinyl scraps, I'm telling you, do it. You will thank me later. One day when you need just a little tiny decal, or you want to do nails or personalize, you know, a name on a water bottle or something, those scraps work perfectly for that. Anyways, now we're just going ahead and doing the transfers. So when you do layered vinyl, you want to work from the base up. So I'm putting the background on first, and then you're going to start building up from there. So you could do this a couple of different ways. You could add the layers all together first, like on your Cricut mat, for example, and then transfer it over all of them together onto whatever you're putting it, you know, your wood sign or whatever. But for something this large, I wanted to put it directly on the wood sign. That way it was a lot easier and I could really kind of move the placement around more. When it's a smaller decal, I do go ahead and do it on the Cricut mat. I layer everything first and then do the transfer. But for this one, it's just way too large for me to even try to do that with the transfer tape I was using. So again, just looking at that little photo, the original sign for reference, and I'm going to head and cut out my vinyl again. So as you can see, I'm using multiple different brands of vinyl. I don't really have a preference quite yet. I'll let you know when I do, but for now I just have a bunch of random ones in my craft space. So I like to just use up what I have, you know, budget-friendly crafter over here, and doing that layer. So it did stick down a couple of times and I was thankfully able to pull it up, which is the really tricky thing about doing a large decal like this. There are some little hacks to fix this. So one of them is putting parchment paper down in between and then kind of pulling it up as you go because it is waxy, so you're able to get it to not fully stick on there. It's a little trick. I'll show it in a whole other video, and there are other hacks as well, but honestly, I normally just eyeball it because I'm way too lazy to, I know it sounds ridiculous, but to go get any of those little things, you know, from the drawer that's pretty close to me, you know, lazy crafter life. So I just wing it. Now with this wood, there were a lot of air bubbles. I was kind of disappointed, but I just went in with my little scraper and really pushed against it, and then I used a little pin as well. I put the end on there, and you'll see I really didn't like how this ended up. And then I also cut out this really pretty free bumblebee SVG that I found on Pinterest. It is gorgeous, and it was kind of fun to weed, and I'm just going to add it right on the bottom here. Oh, it was so beautiful, and just added a beautiful professional touch to this little sign, in my opinion. Now, as I said, I just was not a fan of the letter on there. I don't know, it just looked a little out of place and odd and random for party decor. My original plan was to do it like this so she could just keep it in her room, but then I thought, no, I wanted to make it more geared towards her party. So I went ahead and just cut out the word 1 because, you know, it's her first birthday. I probably should have done a little offset background for this one as well, but didn't really clue in at the time. So I'm just going to transfer that on. And I really love how this one turned out. It is so cute, and it turned out beautifully for the party. This next one is the candle. Now this one worked really great, and another candle I tried did not. This candle specifically is from Walmart if you're interested. And what I did is just cut out a little bumblebee again, the same one, and I'm going to add that onto my transfer tape and then put it directly onto the candle. The candle was a super smooth surface. It did not have any ribbed edges or anything like the other candle I tried. So this one worked really well. And then I wanted to add a little something else, so I just added the word 1 on top of it again to kind of go with the same theme. I wanted to keep the bumblebees and the wording super similar and the font to just make a really unison kind of decor, as if, you know, you purchased it, and those high-end decor, you know, that really matches. I didn't want it to be too tacky. So I went ahead and added that on, and I just love how simple and beautiful this one came out. It looked so cute on the little tiered tray that I made. And I really like the whole presentation of it in the end, which I will show you as well of how it looked like at the party. So I wanted to make some little cardstock bees, and I filmed this a couple months ago, a couple months before the party really, and my crafting game has upped so much since then. It's crazy. So in this video I am filming me making these, but I actually ended up later on making some really gorgeous 3D bumblebees. And oh, I downloaded them off of Creative Fabrica. If you don't have Creative Fabrica, I highly recommend you check them out. I have a link in the description for it, and I also have a discount code included, and it's just amazing. If you sign up for the first month, it's only $1, which is wonderful. You can cancel at any time, so I mean, it's a no-brainer to me. I save so much money on there, but I found these beautiful 3D bumblebees. Actually, one of you did. Kara, shout out to you. You let me know that that was on there, and I downloaded it and made them on a live, and it was so much fun. But for today, we're going to cut it out of cardstock and then just layer them. Now, this is my first real go at working with cardstock projects, and I wanted to kind of up my cardstock game, which I definitely did. I learned a lot. So I wanted to make a banner. I went ahead and just cut out the letters, and then I added on Cricut Design Space just 2 little circles on each letter to string the twine through. And again, this is my first go at most of these cardstock projects, so I really wanted to try different things and then just get more experience in it, which I definitely did, and I look forward to making a lot more of these projects in the future for other birthday parties. I felt like the cardstock little letters looked a little plain, so I went ahead with a Sharpie and just drew the little lines, kind of like, you know, you would see the bumblebee and their little trail lines. I gave it that sort of effect. I feel like that looks a lot better. And then I just took some regular twine that I picked up at Michael's, then I strung it through. I added a couple of my bees that I made with my cardstock. Again, not the best that I've done, but at the time it was my first go, and it still turned out pretty cute. So I went ahead and did 2 layers, and I wanted to first try hot glue to put them together, but now that I know what I do know, I would use double-sided tape. You can purchase it at the dollar store, and that works a lot better. It holds really great. At the time I did not have that, so I hot glued and then I used some Scotch tape to get it on there, and hey, it stuck. So I mean, it wasn't too bad, but I would definitely use double-sided tape from what I know now. Now this banner turned out so beautifully, and I just loved this little personalized touch to our B-Day themed party. Oh, so cute. And here's a look at that tiered tray with the projects I've shown so far, and then a couple more that I'm sharing in the next video. So this turned out beautifully. Overboard, possibly, but that's okay. It's enjoyable for all of us adults anyway. So this is the stuff that was made with Cricut. I'm gonna quickly go over while I'm decorating, but we have things like signs and cake toppers, 3D letters. These balloons I'm going to personalize with some decals that I made. We made coasters. A lot of these I did on live, and the ones that were not on a live, I'm going to post the tutorials shortly. Made little signs and personalized goodie bags, mugs, little beehive, candles, all the things. This is something we made on a live together with your suggestions. I did not make these because at the time I did not have a Cricut maker, so I just wanted to show those and say that I'm not taking credit for making those. We have a birthday banner that we DIY'd with some cardstock. Over here we have some chips. I bought these bins to put like a little DIY in. Some napkins and like a little bowl I'm going to DIY. And then we have just more party things along there. So yes, a little overboard, but hey, I had fun doing it. I love the colors and I'm so excited. So let's get decorating. It's going to be over 2 days, and I'm actually going to start making the garland now as well. So let's get started. The B-Day party turned out so beautifully. It was so much fun. Surprisingly, everyone took the party favors. They loved them, so I wasn't stuck with a bunch of them, thank goodness. And honestly, just everyone had a lovely time. My daughter looked so cute in her little bumblebee costume outfit that we made on the live, so thank you so much for everyone that gave suggestions on all of these things. You know, you were there when I set up the balloon garland, made those 3D bees and everything, so thank you so much for your kind words, kind comments on her birthday. She had a wonderful day, and I'm just so thankful for this community that we have. It turned out so amazingly, and it was because of all of your amazing suggestions, so thank you from the bottom of my heart. A lot of the things like the 3D letters and stuff like that, I have not done a tutorial on yet because I wanted to try it out first, but we have another birthday party coming in 1 month. Oh my goodness, I need to get started. I have not done that yet, and I'm running low on time now, but I'm going to be showing the tutorial on those 3D letters and garlands and all of those things because now I know the do's and don'ts of it all, and I'm here to share it with you. I also ended up going back in and making some amazing cake toppers. Oh, isn't the B-Day girl so cute in her little outfit? I'm so excited about how this party turned out. It turned out beautifully, so thank you everyone for your wonderful suggestions, and here's a little sneak peek on what's coming in the next Bumblebee themed Cricut tutorial. This one's gonna be for the tiered tray. How cute is this? Alrighty, I'll see you all on the next one, and in the meantime, check out this video here, subscribe, like, and comment down below, and let me know what your favorite Cricut tip is. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now, crafters.